Train the muscles, not the joints. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding. And here I am going to be training some back, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about back training, the secrets to training back. The secrets. The big secrets, yeah. Because a lot of people misunderstand training back. They think that training shoulders or rotating their arms inwards and stuff is how you get a bigger back, and guess what? It's not. It's not how you do it. Of course, let me just correct myself. Some of you guys are built a little different than others, so I always have to put that caveat in there because everybody's a little different. So whatever makes you feel your back the most is definitely going to be the right thing if you have that mind-muscle connection. And the thing is that you have to embrace diversity. This is like a diverse channel. On this channel, we embrace diversity. We embrace, if you're a little bit different than I am and you train a little bit different, I'm okay with that. As long as you're getting results, hey, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge your lifestyle choice? If you pull the bar all the way up and touch your belly button, and if you round your back, who am I to judge? Hey, who am I to judge? So, this is a place of acceptance. So any of you guys out there that are looking for some hate from me here, don't worry, you're not going to get it. Nice, very nice. Okay, so anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm pulling with the back. As you see, I'm doing some bent over rows. I'm going to show you some creative angles, some real Steven Spielberg shit here. I know a lot of you guys are looking for that stuff on this channel because that's just what this channel is about. Steven Spielberg stuff. I'm going to put in a spaceship right here. I'm going to put a spaceship in. I think that'll be good. I think that'll convince you that I'm a real movie maker. But as you can see, I'm pulling the elbows back, but I'm not focused on how far the elbows come back. So what I mean by this is you want to bring, okay, there's a back. See, I'm going to flex my back here because, every bodybuilder needs to take a time out and just do some flexing because that's just kind of what you do in your gym. Yeah, try doing that in 24-hour fitness or Planet Fitness, eh? Try getting away with that in that gym. That's the nice part about my gym. I'm going to be doing a video of what I like about my gym, and this is one of the things I like about it. I can get away with this kind of crap. So, back to back. Back to training back, okay? When you pull, you're pulling the elbows back, but the main purpose is to pull the shoulders back, to retract the shoulders, to stick the chest out, and to bring those shoulder blades together. It isn't about how high the bar comes, okay? It's about pulling purely with the back, not the delts or the biceps. The problem is my is straight in the bar. That's the problem. And that's just not a good thing, because it's not that straight. It's like a banana bar. So there's a point to when you're pulling the bar that the back is already fully contracted, the shoulder blades are already retracted, and any extra contraction is actually going to have to come from either the bicep or the rear delt. And that means you're either going to have to bend the elbow more, or you're going to have to rotate with the rotator cuff, the teres major, or one of those muscle groups, to get the bar just to come up higher on your waist. And that's really going to be counterproductive because if you make one of those smaller muscle groups the weak link in the exercise, not only are those muscles going to adapt instead of the major muscles in the back, it really defeats the whole purpose because now you're no longer really training back. Now you're going to be doing a bicep workout or a rear delt workout. And there is a YouTuber that's quite a bit bigger than I am, and I'm not going to mention who he is, and I mean bigger in numbers and all this, although yeah, he is a little bit bigger in stature and stuff, but his back is extremely weak. He's got a wicked physique, a great physique everywhere, but when I watch his form, when he rows, he pulls the bar way too high up, and then you could see that his rear delt has become the weak link, and he's got these great rear delts, but his lats are not even getting a workout. One more set. The bar was rolling over my hand there, and that was just not fair. And the bar rolls over my hand because this bar is meant. So really what I'm trying to say to you is that there's many different techniques, and each technique will lead to a different part of your body being the weak link, and that will cause a certain type of adaptation or a certain result, right? So you can see I'm pulling to the waist here, but I'm not necessarily touching my waist because when I pull higher to the waist, then I have to start incorporating more the bicep, more the rear delt, and start rotating the arms in. Or you see some people, they do the almost like the claw, right? Where they actually use their wrists and they bend their wrists in order to get that bar back further. But that doesn't do anything to get more back involved. And if anything, it actually just strains your wrists. So that's exactly it. I mean, you want to concentrate on actually training back if you're training back. And this takes some time. I remember when I first walked into a gym, I was doing a lot of chins and a lot of rows. But what I was developing was a lot of rear delts and a lot of bicep because I was really pulling with my arms. I was not pulling with my back because I was not using the retraction principle of the shoulder blades. I already did about 6 sets of bent over row, 5-6 sets. So now I'm going to finish off with about 4 or 5 sets of this, and then I'll move on to biceps. So yeah, my workouts are a lot longer right now. I'm doing higher volume. I'm trying to just shock the system into growing a little bit. So because I haven't done this for so long, that's why it's worth a try, right? So you have to get out of your comfort zone once in a while. So this machine right here, I like it because it really stretches the lats out a little bit, and it's just a different angle of attack. Now, of course, I'm not straightening the arms because I don't want to straighten the arms, because once I straighten the arms, then the shoulder starts to take more of the stress, and the bicep crosses the shoulder joint and helps stabilize the shoulder. Okay, now from doing that, now I can get a harder contraction in the lat because I'm not loosening the shoulder. If you've ever dislocated a shoulder or popped something out, you'll understand what I'm talking about here. But there is a certain principle of stability. Let's call it the stability principle. Okay, the stability principle. So what the stability principle is that when the joint is stable, then there can be more tension exerted from the muscle because the joint is not, you know, flopping and folding all over the place and falling out of place and everything. So ultimately what I'm trying to do is use the range of motion that keeps that tension on the lat, where a lot of times some people, they unload their muscle. They'll actually totally relax it at the top, and what they don't realize is that they're transferring the stress from the back onto the rear delts or the rotator cuff or the elbows in some cases, which is one of the main reasons why I get a lot of people asking me why they have elbow pain. It's usually because they're unloading the lat and unloading the arm during back movements or chin-ups or something like that, and they're just hanging off the joint, right? So then they end up with a chronic inflammation or a problem. Too big for this gym. After training back, I moseyed on down the dumbbell rack and started doing some bicep curls. So one of the things that is often misunderstood on the internet right now is that people think, oh, proper form means that you have to straighten all the way down to the bottom and then pause and then slowly come upwards, and you know, this is the best way to keep that tension on the bicep. But the truth is that when you go too strict, you actually take the tension off the bicep, especially if you straighten the arm at the bottom and you just deload the muscle. So I find it's better to keep it slightly bent. Now, of course, this is exasperated by my bicep injury that I had from, you know, almost 20 years ago now. But the fact is that I have to keep my arm slightly more bent, at least my left one anyway, in order to make sure that I keep the tension on that bicep. But this gives me such an awesome pump. If I just keep pumping the reps, just keep the tension on there, I find that I get much more results. So sometimes I use 30 pounders, sometimes I'll use lighter weight, sometimes I'll use heavier weight. I always vary the reps up. So just know this, if you keep the tension on the muscle, as much as there are some idiots on the internet that think that constant tension doesn't do anything, I am living proof that constant tension does do something. I mean, if you've ever seen me squat, I'm not doing ass to the grass. I'm doing pretty shallow squats compared to some guys, but I'm keeping the tension on the muscle. I'm not straightening up at the top or anything like that. So I'm doing the same thing here with bicep. I'm trying to keep that tension on there. And even when I have my arm at my side, I usually keep the bicep slightly bent to keep that tension on there so it never gets a rest. I gotta do me, man. I gotta do me. Just praying for Jason. You're like, don't let him be old and fat forever. Please, God, help him out. I don't want to become like Jason. So maybe if Jason has hope, maybe I have hope when I'm in my 40s. So I moved on from standing dumbbell curls to incline dumbbell curls, and of course I have to tighten up the dumbbells here because there's just so much curling going on. It's just unraveling the dumbbells as we speak. And as you can see, there's a rock god stance in the background there. It looks pretty cool. He just needs a guitar instead of the tricep press down. I think that would work great. So anyway, so I love the incline curl. It's one of my favorite curls. If you can't grow biceps, do this curl. This is the secret to growing biceps in a lot of ways. The reason why I can't do it as much anymore is because my shoulder sits kind of funny in the joint, so this kind of jams a little bit, so I can only get away with doing some light weight, but I used to do pretty heavy weight on this. But yeah, if you're having trouble really getting that mind muscle connection with the bicep, with the belly of the bicep, getting that peak, try the incline curl. It's just awesome. So I hope you learned a few tricks in order to build your back and build your biceps up. And thanks a lot for watching, and make sure you share my stuff. Yeah, that's right. Share this stuff. Yeah. Okay. Take care for now.